550,000 trillion. It's an absolutely massive number. It's also the amount of Planck times that it takes for you to blink once slowly. A Planck time is the smallest measure of time that human science has come up with. So, time and space have always been reinforced in everyday life, saying, yes, it exists, it has to. Because, take the question, does time exist? Well, of course it does, people would say. We use it, every month we pay the bills, or every week we get a paycheck. And the question, does space exist? Take that. Of course, they would also say, of course it does, because I'm standing in it right now, I move through it every day. But the truth is that time and space are both human concepts, not external realities. An external reality is something that is real, to be a reality, that's not in your own head. It's outside of your thoughts. Because since it's outside of your head, it's external, and since it's real, it's a reality. To start off, I will explain why time is not an external reality. The definition of time is the indefinite continued progress of existence and events in the past, present, and future regarded as a whole. Take the first part of that definition, the indefinite continued progress of existence. That tells you that time is intangible. Since it's just a progress of existence and events, it is not right in front of you, you can't touch it, you can't feel it, you can't smell it, any of the senses. So, and take the second part, events. Events is a huge deal because we're using time to measure events, which also says it's intangible. Take clocks, for example. Clocks is a counter-argument against this. Clocks exist, we use them to measure time, so obviously time has to exist, right? Not necessarily. Clocks are just a rhythm. We use the rhythm of clocks, which is seconds, minutes, hours, to measure the rhythm of larger events, like the rotation of the Earth, which is a day, what we call a day, and the rotation of the Earth around the Sun, which is what we call a year. So we're using the clock, the smaller rhythms, the clock is just one example, to measure bigger rhythms of events. Humans also invented the concept of time. We use it to reference events like I just said. We use the clock to reference when we did things. Also, time cannot be sensed, as I said before. Since time is intangible, none of your senses will detect it. Next, I will explain why space is not an external reality. It's also intangible, just like time. You have spatial awareness, there is air surrounding you, but what's around you is not actually space. It's just empty. From me to this is just empty. It's not actually something there. Same with from me to the ceiling. There's nothing there. It's not actually something. Catherine Becker, in an article for today's Science and Quantum Weirdness, Loophole Free, wrote, quote, "One of the strangest features of the world at the quantum level, the very tiniest scale at which the world exists, is that an act of observation or measurement amounts to an intervention, a way of changing things. This means that reality does not exist until it's actually measured." Take this galaxy, for example. If you were to measure it from one side to the other, that's one form of measurement, or just to see it is another form of measuring it. By seeing it, you're measuring it with your eyes, so you're saying it exists. It's there. But if you're not looking at it, then you theoretically are not measuring it, so theoretically it doesn't exist. It doesn't to you. Because you aren't measuring it, so you cannot say that it's there. Also, another example of that would be a glass jar or vase sitting next to you. You can probably reach over and grab it without even looking at it. So your sense of time and space is pretty accurate most of the time, because you can reach over and grab it without looking. But if you leave the room, you probably are forgetting that the jar or vase is made up of a bunch of subatomic particles of molecules and energy. So, once you leave the room, theoretically, you don't know that that glass jar or vase actually exists because it's made up of molecules and energy. So you can't say that there's a vase there because you don't know. You're not measuring it with your eyes. Also, just like time, space can't be sensed. I can't sense space around me. I can sense air around me, but since space is intangible, you can't sense it. Finally, I will explain what time and space actually are. Time and space are both human constructs. We invented them as references, as I said before, of events. We need them to say when and where things happened, so we can talk about it to other people and relay information to other people. And all measures of time and space were invented by humans. Before we existed, time and space technically didn't exist. In conclusion, time and space are both intangible, unable to be sensed, and are invented by humans. They are both human constructs and created to be used as points of references for important events. This is a piece of information that is instinctively known, but not really thought about. It's an important piece of information because it shows that humans really are capable of anything. Thank you.